Hi, Bushy friends. It's Tim. So, I'm trying a different kind of video today, so you can actually see my face. So, as of the recording of this video, the year is coming to a close. 2019 is nearing its end, and I thought it would be pretty cool if I went over my top 10 board games of all time. Of course, this list will constantly change because I have quite a large collection of board games. And I'm ashamed to say I haven't played all of them. So, this could possibly change. But I thought taking a little snapshot right now and maybe doing maybe a year-to-year kind of thing would be fun. So, this will be my top 10 board games of all time as of 2019, or as of this year. So, let's start with my number 10 favorite board game. This list was very hard to put together, by the way. I tried to do it in a way that, where I included several genres of board games, because but I like a variety of board games, so I think this is, and of course, as you go further up in the list, I'm more willing to play those types of games, where it's like, as I get closer to number 1, I get more and more excited about playing that game. So, yeah. So let's start with number 10. Number 10 is actually my favorite two-player game right now. There's a lot of really good two-player games, but this one is my favorite. And that game is Seven Wonders Duel. So Seven Wonders Duel is, I'm sure probably most of you have heard of Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders is a card drafting game where everyone, has a hand of cards, and you pass them from player to player, and they have to choose a card, and then it's played over 3 ages. This game is similar in that you still play over 3 ages, but instead of drafting like a hand of cards, instead what you do is you have this little kind of, sometimes it's a pyramid, sometimes it's, a different shape, and you're taking cards from this kind of tableau of cards, some that are face up and some that are face down, that don't get revealed until after you have taken the face up cards that are on top of those. So there's still a little bit of randomness and mystery to this game, but you're kind of building your own little tableau and scoring very similarly to the original game, but this is the best two-player implementation of that game. So this is it has an expansion. I have the expansion. The Pantheon expansion, I believe, is what it's called. Yeah, this game is it's nice, it's quick. Great two-player game. So that is Seven Wonders Duel, my number 10 favorite board game. So yeah. My number 9 board game is my favorite deck builder. If you're not familiar, deck builders are games in which you have a deck of cards and you are accumulating more cards. And what generally happens is you use that deck of cards, they get put into discard pile, and then when your draw pile runs out, your discard pile becomes your draw pile, so you reshuffle everything and start, from the beginning. My favorite deck builder is, and this is a bit of a large box, although it typically comes in a smaller box. Star Realms. Now, as I said, this usually comes in a smaller box because it's like a smaller game. Usually plays between 2 players, but you could play basically up to, I don't think they recommend anything higher than 4, maybe. But this deck builder, space themed, there are 4 different factions, and what happens is there's some synergy if you continually get the same faction cards, that those faction cards will become more and more powerful because you'll get to use the special abilities of those cards. So this is the universal storage box, as you can see. But I have lots. This game has come out with several expansions. And, yeah, they have these nice little dividers. This is the entire, kind of, I don't know what you would call, the cards that will come out in the, because you basically shop for cards using a currency in the game. And then you want to try to defeat your opponent. So you basically have two types of currency, well, you have one that you use to buy cards and another one that you use to attack your enemies. And those generally come on these cards where they'll have one or both of these resources. It's very fun. There's an app. I love to play the app. The app is very well done. They actually have a online play where you can play against other players, which I really enjoy. I play more of the app than I do the physical game because it's easier to kind of pull up the app than it is to, set up a game of this. So, yeah, that is Star Realms, a deck building game. My next game. I tend to like games that have a theme. Mostly ones that have a space theme. This particular one continues that. This is a drafting game, much like Seven Wonders, but this is my favorite drafting game, where you're actually building a space station. Let me show you. This game is called Among the Stars. This game, I was introduced to it way back when I started, becoming more of a board gamer. And I just love this game. It's kind of fallen off a little bit, but it still has a special place in my heart. So you have these cards. They're kind of squarish cards. And I have all the expansions to this as well. And a nice little organizer from Broken Token. Let's see. But, yeah, there's these square cards. And you can choose to do certain things with them. You can get credits with them. You can get a power station for your spaceport. Yeah, there's just so much you can do, and I like the synergy in the game. I like all the variability. I think it's just a really well-designed game. And yeah, it has a lot of expansions. I haven't gotten to play this, and again, this actually has an app itself, which is actually really good. So I've actually played the app a lot more than I played this, just just like Star Realms. I would like to get it to the table again sometime soon. But for now, you know, I just like to keep it as a, you know, one of my favorite evergreens, as they call it. It might fall off eventually, I don't know. But for now, Among the Stars is my number 8 favorite game of all time. Now, let's see. My number 7 favorite game. This one is a real puzzly, very thinky kind of game. If you hate math, you will probably hate this game. Luckily, I love math, so I actually really enjoy this game. Game is called Sentient. Sentient is a game where I believe it's set in like a dystopian future where robots and machines have become sentient. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to program these machines to basically do things and score you points. The cards basically have numbers because you are working with dice, basically. You don't really roll the dice. Instead, what you're doing is you're setting the values based on these cards. Well, actually, you do roll the dice. Never mind. You roll the dice at the beginning, and those are the beginning numbers that you have. You have to basically work with those, because the cards will tell you, give you certain stipulations about what values the dice need to have for you to be able to score maximum points. The dice are really cool. They're very chunky. I like a good chunky die. But yeah, you have these factions. Let's see, yeah. So here are the dice. This plays up to 5 players. And it's for 5 colors. Yeah, it's just a really, really good game. Actually, no, it plays up to 4 players. Never mind. Why did I think it played 5? Oh no, so the colors of the dice represent the different factions. There's 5 different factions. These are the 4 player tokens, so yeah, it plays up to 4 players. Really good game. Highly recommended. I mean, obviously, because it's my number 6 favorite game, but, and the art is just, you know, it's really cool. It's very, very futuristic. Yeah. It's very, Fifth Element, if you've seen that movie. Lilo. Multipass. So, Sentient, my 6th favorite game. No. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 6th favorite game. Wait, 1, 2. Sorry. 10, 9, 8. 7th favorite game. Okay. I'm kind of tired, if you can't tell. So, to recap, 10th favorite game, 7 Wonders Duel. 9th favorite game, Star Realms. 8th favorite game, Among the Stars. 7th favorite game, Sentient. Okay. 6th favorite game. This game, what would you call this game? Among my friends, I call it kind of a Machikoro type game. If you're familiar with Machikoro, you're basically, every party on their turn rolls 1 or 2 dice, generally. And usually you'll get resources based on what you've bought in the course of the game. So you have like these cards in front of you that will tell you if you roll certain numbers, you're going to get certain things. that's kind of like this game. This is my favorite implementation of that mechanic. And that is Valeria Card Kingdoms. This is another game that I've bought all the expansions to. But like I said, so what you do is you're purchasing these cards that will go in front of you, and they tell you if you roll a certain number, you're going to get a certain number of resources or something will happen. There are like 3 resources in this game. There's coins, which you use to buy things. There's attack, which is used to attack monsters. And then there's magic, which can be used for one or the other. Yeah, so I like this box. Is very perfect. It's well designed. Plenty of room, even more room. I don't know if they were expecting to make more expansions, but all these dividers, I love a well-organized game box. So good. Yeah. And then these are the resources here: gold, magic, might, and then these, which represent victory points. They're like little purple badges or something. But yeah, this game is really good. Most of my friends really like this one. So that, oops. I'm very particular about how I put my games away. I like the box to be facing the same way as the back of the box. I don't know why. It's part of my nature. Perfect. So there we go. Valeria Card Kingdoms, my number 6 game of all time. Alright, top 5. So, for my 5th favorite game of all time, okay, so, I don't know if you remember in school, you would do these logic puzzles where, it's like Sally is taller than Jim, but Jim is shorter than Sam, and, you're basically trying to, through these clues, figure out who has what, or is taller, or has different colored hair, or something, I like those types of puzzles, and this game is the perfect implementation of that type of puzzle. This game is called Cryptid. So if you don't know, a cryptid is a kind of like a mythological beast, or a creature that kind of exists in myth and legend. So, for example, like the Loch Ness Monster, Sasquatch, the Yeti, they're basically all cryptids. In this game, it's 1 to 5, 2 to 5, no, 3 to 5. 3 to 5. It's a 3 to 5 player game, and it's simple to teach, hard to master, because if I can get the box open, you set up the board with these. These are basically different terrain types, and they kind of fit together, like a puzzle. There are cards in here that will tell you how to set them up based on what scenario you're doing. There is an online website that will also give you kind of setup and whatnot. But basically what you're doing is everyone has a clue that kind of tells them where the cryptid could be. The cool thing is that everyone's clue is set up in a way that exactly one tile is true for everyone. And what you're trying to do is figure out through asking all the other players simple yes or no questions. Basically pointing to a tile and saying, could it be here? You're trying to deduce what everyone else's clue is, so then you can figure out which tile is the correct one. Again, real brain burny. A lot of people get intimidated by this game, but I love it. I think it's amazing. Just so well designed and just, it's so good. Yeah, anytime anyone wants to play this game with me, bring it on. Because I am a Cryptid fan. So again, that is Cryptid for 3 to 5 players. Alright. My 4th favorite game, and I actually just played this tonight. I went to a friend's place and we played a few games. This is an economy game. I really like games that have like a rhythm where it's like, you know, everyone does like one action and it kind of goes around the table really quickly. I also like a cute theme, which this definitely has a cute theme. Yeah. This game is called Raccoon Tycoon. Oh, yeah, so in this game, you are basically trying to buy railroads and construct towns that will give you victory points. To do that, you need to make money and get commodities, and those commodities you can then sell. The economy in this game is really cool. So you basically play these cards that will increase certain commodities, the price of those commodities, but then also give you, certain resources and commodities. You can then sell them, but then when you sell them, it drives the price down, just like a supply and demand market. The art in this game, you see these little kitty cats and raccoons and skunks and dogs. It's just, yeah. I played it again tonight, and it's like, yeah, this is a really good game, and the components are really nice too. You can see here the first player marker is a raccoon. Yeah, so cute. And then they have like coal that's shaped like coal, or iron that's shaped like iron, and whatnot. It's just a really well designed game. Lots of cool components, just really nice. Yeah, I feel like it doesn't overstay its welcome. It can get long, but I feel like I have fun playing it, even when it does run a little long. So, that's Raccoon Tycoon, my 4th favorite game. Alright, top 3. This is exciting. So, my 3rd favorite game is probably the heaviest of all these. There's a game that came out a while ago called Terra Mystica. Now, that's a game that I didn't particularly like because I thought it was too rigid. Everyone started basically with the same, board and landscape each time. The player powers weren't very interesting. I just didn't think that it was particularly engaging. They had these tracks that didn't really mean anything, or at least they didn't to me. But it was fixed with a reskin, and again, another space-based game. And that game is... oh, that's heavy. Gaia Project. As you see, it says Terra Mystica game. So they definitely pay homage to their roots. But this game fixes basically all the problems that I had with Terra Mystica. The board is modular. Everyone's powers, or their asymmetrical powers, are interesting. I feel like it's more balanced. The tracks mean something, and when you go up different tracks, you will get different rewards based on those tracks, and it changes each game because you have these tiles that you put out, and it will change what the rewards are for that particular track. So, yeah. You can see it's a very substantial game. Very long. What does the, suggested 60 to 150 minutes. I think that's like, well, obviously, the higher the player count, the longer the game's gonna be. But yeah, you basically go around, because in Terra Mystica you're kind of terraforming the earth or the land to make it more habitable for your race. Well, in this one, you're terraforming planets to make them more habitable for your species or alien race. It's just so good. It's such a good game. But yeah, that's why it's my number 3, Gaia Project. Okay, it's getting serious now. Top 2. This game, I've just always loved. It used to be my number 1 for the longest time. But it's fallen off because my number 1 game, it just kind of blew me out of the water. But anyway, we'll get to that. My number 2 game is a tile laying game. If you're familiar with Carcassonne, this game is very similar to that. But I don't particularly like Carcassonne. I feel like it's a little, I don't know, convoluted. It feels like the scoring is weird. I've never really understood it. It just feels finicky. This is, to me, more straightforward. And that game is Isle of Skye. 2 to 5 players. Yeah, this game, so good. So you're basically building up a kingdom. It's based in Scotland, and you're building kind of a system of islands. And you start with a castle that gives you a base income, and you're trying to connect barrels to that castle that will increase that income, but you're also trying to get these scrolls that will give you points based on certain features that you have in your kingdom. And then the scoring mechanisms are different each game because you have these tiles that basically will give you different scoring conditions each round. Yeah, it's just, it feels very balanced. It feels very, it doesn't play very long. It's just, and the bidding mechanism is so clever. So what you do is before, on your turn, you get like these 3 tiles that you place out in front of you that are different land tiles. If there's one that you really want, you can put a certain amount of money on it that, because basically you're saying how much you're willing to spend on it. Other players can take that tile from you if they give you that amount of money. So even though it might feel bad to lose the tile that you really want, it doesn't feel horrible because you're basically doubling, or you're getting that money from another player. So yeah, it's so clever, and I think it's just a really, really well implemented game. Nothing more to say about it. Isle of Skye, it's so good. Number 2. Alright. My number 1 game. I just got this game this year through a Kickstarter. And it's everything I like in board gaming. It's expansive, it's sandboxy, it's modular, many scoring conditions, expansions. It's so many different expansions that you can add in or take out. It's got so much variability, and it's different every game. It's so good. It's quite a big box. Oh, here we are. Vindication. Shake the table a little bit. As I said, it's a big box. Vindication. So, you start the game as, and this is the words of the game, a guilt-ridden scumbag. And you are basically abandoned by your the ship that you're riding on. And you kind of end up on this deserted island, but it's not really deserted because you're saved by a person. And then you are basically traveling around trying to gain honor so that you can vindicate yourself. The way that you do that is you explore, you reveal tiles that will do different things. Yeah, and you're getting companions, you're getting relics, there's just so much going on in this game. More than I can probably tell you about, at least now. I mean, I could do a full review of the game, but that's not really what this video is for. I mean, I'm tempted at some point to do a solo. I think this game is soloable. Maybe not. It says 2 to 5 players. Could have swore there was a solo thing. I think there is in the expansion, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. But look at this thing. There's so much going on. There's so much to do. It has these really cool figures that don't really do much for the game, but they're very pretty to look at. Oh, such a big board. Like, here's the board. Yeah, there's just, I mean, look at these things. The figurines are just so cool. Everything has a nice little case. So like each player gets one of these that has everything they need to start the game. Yeah, this tells you what each of the regions does. It's also a nice little player aid. There's just so much. Yeah, this game blew me away. I don't see how anything can supplant it right now. It's just, again, everything that I love about board gaming. Just, it's very tactical. I prefer, and I tell this to everyone that I game with, I prefer a nice tactical game to a strategic game. Meaning that I don't really care for games like chess, where the game state is always the same at the beginning of the game, so that you can improve basically just by, doing different moves. It's like it's much more independent of the player you're playing against, because it's like certain strategies will work. I believe these games, it's like you have to, because they're so modular and the setup is so random and variable, you have to constantly be thinking on your feet, and I really enjoy that. I like games that you have to, you can't just rely on certain strategies, you have to change it up. Yeah, it's just perfection in my eyes. Sorry. That wasn't me. Oh, so good. I can't wait to get this to the table again. But yeah, my #1 favorite board game. And again, I don't see any way that this is going to be supplanted anytime soon. It might even be my #1 a year from now. Is Vindication. Yeah, maybe I should solo some of these. I don't know. I do unboxing videos. I feel like I'm trying to come up with more ideas because ASMR videos are, there's so many ways that you can do them, and I feel like use what you know, and I know board games, so I think ASMR and board games and the boxes just sound really good. I mean, I love that sound, and the sound of like pieces, clinking together, like certain cardboard coins or metal coins. There's just a lot that sounds good with board games. So anyway, that was my top 10. I'm just going to put this over here for now. So I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, my top 10. I'll put them in the description just in case you missed some of them. But maybe I'll try doing this once a year, like towards the end of the year, to see if anything changed. Because, yeah, as I play these games, some will fall off, some will maybe come on. But right now, these are my top 10. And as I said, I will play them anytime, anywhere, with anyone. So anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I hope it helped you relax. I hope it was maybe a little informative if you're into the board game hobby, or maybe just getting into it. Maybe tell me what some of your favorite board games are. And yeah, so until next time, I'll see you later.